Healthcare, the Democratic leadership, 3 senators, Dodd and Baucus and Reed, are behind closed doors with Rahm Emanuel and the folks. This is a way to run a democratic republic?
This is the way to get deals done, and sometimes you get behind closed doors and get the deal done. The trick is to get something done. Why? The clock is ticking to next year's midterm elections. If they don't come back with something, and they go to the American people with nothing, what they might get back as Democrats is a lot of nothing. That's what's at stake here. So get it done. And if that requires quiet negotiation, well, it's better than doing it up front.
Did you say quiet?
Yeah, quiet negotiation instead of screaming and yelling and getting behind closed doors and working out a deal.
By the way, the Republicans... Did you mean secret closed door meetings?
Nothing different than Republicans have done forever and that Democrats have done. It's the way you get things done.
Since the founding of our republic.
Hank Shankoff, of all...
I'm a pretty open fella, yeah.
To hear such cynical... I'm
That's how
shocked.
the legislature works.
I don't want you to be disappointed.
There's gambling going on here. Alert the
There's going to be plenty of screaming and yelling, and there'll be plenty of public hearings and debates as this proceeds to the floors of both houses. Then it goes into the conference committee, then it goes back for final approval. But since the founding of our republic, when our founding fathers sat over a tavern...
Don't you insult the
I'm not insulting them. I'm applauding their genius.
Don't you compare a Congress and a Senate run by Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid?
I'm talking about the institutions they founded, which I think is a tribute to their legacy and to their genius.
That's Robert's right.
And don't forget the leaks. I mean, every step of the way will be...
that was Ben Franklin came in. He took care of that.
Well, but it's true. I mean, you'll hear all of the different proposals and all of who's up and who's down and what's the possible trade going to be, and you'll report on it, and millions of people will know what they're up to.
So what you're saying is, I should be thrilled that we're going to have leaks out of a little cabal after watching a president and the Democratic leadership say that they were having a public debate for 8 months in which not a thing was revealed to the American public. And I should get excited about leaks out of a cabal sitting there behind closed doors?
You'll be even more excited watching Democrats go after each other over this process, take each other on.
We're already getting excited. Democrats, they haven't reached the level where they excite me, but
I didn't think so.
But they're excited. And the options here for a public that right now is not accepting of the so-called, I will just say it instead of public option, a government-run healthcare competitive entity, whatever that might be. I mean, come on, it's government-run healthcare.
Now, Lou, I think, in fairness, we don't have the government running the hospitals. Can we have that bill, please, the 1,400 pages?
Could you bring me that bill before? Have we got anybody left here? Frank is the only one here strong enough to bring it over.
We do have, certainly the Veterans Administration healthcare is government-run, where the government pays for the veterans' hospitals and pays for doctors.
As it should, and should do more and better, and they're not good enough for the people that have served this country.
So, but I think in this case, I don't think it's a clear example of government-run health care.
So you think this is an open and shut case? And because based on your information, on the 418 pages in the committee report,
right?
The 1,500 pages in the legislation.
Do I have to read it now?
Thank you very much. I mean, this thing, come on. You got John Conyers saying he won't, and he's a lawyer, says he needs 2 lawyers to read little bills.
And he chairs the Judiciary Committee.
Yeah, and he is... I mean, come on. What are we dealing with here?
It's not the big roundtable that was going to be broadcast from gavel to gavel on C-SPAN that we'd been promised during the campaign.
Who promised that?
Well, the President of the United States as a candidate.
Was that Barack H. Obama?
Barack H. Obama. But
is this where we say,
Gotcha moment. That's what we say.
I think that any specter of that, any possibility of that, would not be very much different or more satisfying than what we've got now.
So what we're really saying, instead of a president who's kept a promise, a Democratic leadership who refuses to deal in the open, and by the way, you're right, it's not the first party that's ever happened to. Unfortunately, we usually have only 2 parties to choose from on these issues. That we're supposed to accept your judgment that the result will be just as fine as if the American people had actually been involved in the public debate, that there had been an honest and transparent and open, also elements of this process that the president had promised, discussion, so we would understand the impact and the consequences of public policy choices within this.
You know, you're making a very important point, and
I'm trying.
You really are. It's a very critical point, but I think it's also worth noting that after 2 years of public hearings and 2 years worth of committee hearings, that it's up to the American people ultimately to step up and speak to their congressmen. We saw it over the summer when they addressed their congressmen and women in town hall hearings.
Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid had a fit because people showed up at town hall meetings.
But they still showed up, and they had an impact on their members of Congress, and I think our democracy still works.
I got a question. Hank, you get the last word here. And the question I would pose is, did all the folks running the Senate and the House, did they forget about those town hall meetings altogether?
What they did is they forgot about who they represent, which is usually the case. The Congress represents special interests. The president represents the people. That's what we've gotten down to. The pressure is on the president to perform. That's who'll carry the weight, and he'll carry it into next year's congressional
elections. The Congress, at the end of the day, represents the people who put them there. That's the bottom line, and that's why you saw the public option lose momentum and co-op plans gain attention.
Because I'm starting to be a little bit afraid that was just a rumor. Appreciate it. All right, thank you, Errol. Thank you.